What does it really take to be a pro player? Is it instinct? Endless reps? A different way of thinking? Because somehow, they just see things we don't. They play faster, cleaner, more precise. Like they're 5 turns ahead, and we're just stuck reacting. So how big is the gap? Are they really that much better? Or is this game just broken? We're diving into the mindset, breaking down the decisions, and finding out once and for all if it really is just a skill issue. I know 1,000% I'm playing it wrong because I think just exactly how you said it. I think everyone thinks it's an easy deck to play. And like, I guess on paper it seems that way, but there's so many tiny plays and like back and forth things with Scippy that I don't think people realize because everyone just sees Scippy as like, oh, you just play the cards as they come and on perfect curve and then you win. But like that's not at all how you do it. He's a lot more complicated than he seems.
Yeah, I think it's in a sense Scippy it's not difficult deck for people who are just very good at fundamental card game understanding, fundamental mana-based tempo card game gameplay. But that's not that many people who are really good at that.
Exactly.
It sounds like this simple thing. Like Scippy looks easy because it's kind of just like, just value trade and you play more stats than your opponent. But oftentimes you do have to figure out, do you take the line that's more for value, do you bank, when do you play the relic, what cards can you beat? And people just in general, I think even in a tournament, it felt to me, playing against a lot of Scippys, that people just pray that people don't have Sabo. And they just play Relic and concede the game almost to Sabo on the spot pretty frequently, which I don't think is that good. Relic has a very immediate impact, so you can just play units and then play Relic. Don't have to play Relic first.
So I snagged your deck from the tournament. Is there anything in your deck that you brought?
This like bans Earthen, right? So if you play on ladder, I think you want to play 2 or 3 snitchings. So I think half is not that good on ladder because there's not much Shroud probably.
Okay. Take Harfile, we'll add another snitching. You had
Well, you can play that card or you don't have to. Like it's okay card versus a lot of matchups.
Should extra-rated. Try to see if there's anything. Like I said, I don't have to go through the list because I know it's pretty basic.
No, I think Scippy basically. I think Scippy decklist wise, you have 35-ish cards that you just always play, and then you have to figure out what tech cards you want to play. Sabo is almost staple at this point because every deck runs a bunch of relics. So after that, you have the decision: do you tech versus Earthen with snitchings, and maybe with genetic correction or something like that. But I think the Terra mech thing is it feels good to have the option to be able to remove a Fender Terra mech, but it doesn't happen that often. And with the 7 HP thing, if they're super far behind, you just have more than 7 units, and it's not even enough. So I think just snitching is the more important card versus Earthen. Mm-hmm. And that's basically the tech decision. Do you play snitchings, which is versus Earthen and versus things like Shroud? Or do you play the Tide of Odious spell, which is better on the mirror and better versus Kathy? I think that card, by the way, breaks the whole go first, second thing. Yeah, Swelling Tide kind of breaks the go second curse because you can mana cheat and you can actually do stuff going second as well, and you have swing turns. But yeah, tempo matchups are pretty miserable on go first and go second if you don't play that card. But because of how good Earthen is, you kind of just snitchings on ladder.
Is there any reason why we went away from Poisoner? Is it just because Poisoner still is not just valuable? It's just a bad card now?
Even before, it was just an answer to Terra mech. Poisoner, a standalone card, I think, was not relevant versus almost anything outside of Terra mech. All the other things happen very rarely, or you can deal with them by other means. It's like the same thing like genetic correction right now. I feel like it's just not needed. It feels nice the 1 out of 15 games or whatever that you actually cast a card. Mm-hmm. And then in 14 games, it's just a bank.
So do you think with Earthen, it's just like if they get to a certain point, it's just auto lose and we're just going next? Is that ladder mindset, or is it just there's really no point to fully tech? Because I think that's probably the common issue is that I think people maybe overcorrect or over tech for certain matchups.
Snitching is the most relevant card. And after that, that's kind of what I meant. You can play genetic correction or you can just play a good card in your deck. And that good card in your deck, because the way you beat Earthen is you just keep board control, and eventually they brick and don't have an answer, and then they die, right? Or they cannot do the formidable click your face and kill you kind. Snitching is good versus Steward, right? And after that, it's useless as well. And Miasmancer is good on turn 6 onward kind of thing. counters formidable, right? And Skippy, really a lot of people don't know that. And this is probably like alpha that people playing Skippy don't know, that Skippy Master is an order of play. So if you play Mice Mancer and the next turn you Skippy, then the Mice Mancer effect is the last one by your Skippy. So you get the whole thing.
Oh no, yeah, that's definitely a good point. If you play a bunch of musters after Mancer, then just
Like
cancel all the other musters, right?
That's not how you want to play it. You want to play Mice Mancer turn, you probably skip for you want to play Skippy for card draw, or like with some decks where you just want to deny the musters and so on. I guess this is a good deck building point. I think Lambie has been hammering that down to people as well, that playing 9 1-drops really matters. Because just not being able to spend mana is going to lose. It's like the thing, if you play the 9 1-drops, then you don't have space for tech cards really. Like this deck, if I don't consider Sabo a tech card, you have 3 slots, right? And that's it. I also think, deck building wise, I think Wong is super bad in Skippy.
Oh, interesting.
Because it develops a single unit, which in itself is not great for 5 mana, and that like it's a very tempo based and a very board based deck. So I guess this is a really good fundamental Skippy knowledge piece where the Skippy doesn't have much utility outside of Magna, so you're pretty limited with how many units you have on the board that can attack in terms of how many units can you take out. Like you can buff the units or subjugate with Relic, with other stuff. So if you have more units, you can take out more units. But if the opponent has a white board and you have a unit, it's very tough for you to do anything.
I'm thinking Sabo. Do we dump to converted mass?
It's never keep. Like, never play a 4-mana 2/2. I
How's
think you
that?
only keep 1 strike.
One striker? Okay.
You want to draw Tabula here. So you can play a 1-drop and token and Tabula, so you can take out the 0/3 on turn 2.
Oh, we got Mancer early.
Oh, that could be a snitching. He's just banked the Mancer, right?
And then I think one thing that I think most people probably mess up is this, right? Which one do we want to play going first, right? We know they don't have Gunslinger.
Unless they play Gunslinger.
It's always come out. Oh, shit. He either has Helm or it doesn't have a 1-drop.
Probably has a Steward. This game is kind of annoying because you can't just kill Steward and you can't snitch Steward. That's why if you go first, you draw Tabula, you could just trade it here, right? Playing Relic, double land token.
I see. That's important.
And then the game is over at that point because then it's like hard for Burfin to like get the board.
All right.
Do we ever unlucky?
Do we just bank Europa?
No, I think you just bank the striker.
You do. Okay. All right. Common mistake here is I would just go face, but do we ever hit this?
Wait.
That's what I'm saying. I would just go face like this. I never kill this. Why would I hit this?
Always attack, always deal damage.
Always do damage.
Skippy is a board control deck. You don't have burst or burn or whatever.
So you're always trying to do damage. I mean, I guess especially with this, 1 damage doesn't matter. Clearly, it might not add up to the end of the game. Always be hitting.
Especially in Earthen matchup. The player that wins on board wins the game. A little bit of damage face is like completely trivial. You don't have Magna, so that's really good.
Do we play Relic on 3 or we?
Yeah, it's definitely Relic. I don't know if you bank Triumph now though. Probably do.
Bank Triumph. And then obviously we're going against a glaive, so are we just full trading into the glaive with both units? Is that why we're playing Relic?
Yeah, the call is full trade glaive or 1 unit into glaive and the other unit kills Steward.
What would Viper do?
Probably just full. Actually, I don't know. It's really tough.
He'll have 4 next turn if this survives.
He's probably just gonna play Gaffan and he's gonna play like a 5-drop. The Steward survives. It's really annoying actually.
A lovely day.
So get rid of.
Yeah, I think I trade into Steward and glaive like this, and then the other one too. He's still gonna play Gaffar now, and the glaive is gonna get 1 attack in, but he cannot go 5-drop. Like this, Gaffar is a hasty deck, right? And he just used 2 coins. It's really lucky. It is the risk here, right? The risk is if they have relic removal, then they play contact. But you can still just trade token into glaive and just make the double European board, right? So I don't know it's a tough spot, right?
So placement probably matters here, or probably not because they're all just gonna be 1/2s.
Just 1 cunning to the far left, and there's not much more you can do. I guess you play both cunnings far left, right? Yeah. Glaive can take out both of them now, but otherwise Sabo just value trades 1, so it's like
you have 1 unit on board unless he's spores maybe.
Actually, wait, you can never play. I don't know. I'm tired today.
Oh, you're good, man. I get it.
I was just thinking on the glaive thing, like this doesn't like this. All Sabo's always gonna trade token. Glaive is always gonna do this.
Tired offers.
So killing, just not a hasty target, I guess.
So
It's Earth. Yeah, it's just Gamma and Triumph.
are pulling both Scippyans unless we get some good stuff. We have Bear.
I think that's good. Yeah.
Bear, Scipian, and then a 1-drop.
Yeah, you're not positioning one on spores and all.
Well, these are 4s, I guess, but you want a Gamma?
There's Striker in the waist.
Nope.
Yeah, then Gamma.
You just trade 3-1.
It's always trade. Skippy just plays for ball control and it's like entire deck. The thing with the spores positioning, fundamentally, even if a unit is 4 HP, that means it just lives 1 turn, right?
I think
But
thought
this
was
is
like
only
just keep this alive, and then these will survive regardless. But yeah, I can see what you're saying. Yeah.
it's like a small thing, right? But it should still be to the left of the token, basically. So there's no downside in doing that.
He's running retired officers. Interesting. Drushian. No Drushian. We get draw.
It's good. I mean, the game is looking like pretty bad because our opponent was allowed to play 2 retired officers,
Yeah, it's
which
crazy.
they shouldn't be allowed to.
So in this positioning, we would just play this in the middle, right? Want this on the outside.
Yes, like clever.
We got this. Do we want subjugate?
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like normal. Then I guess what do
I mean,
we?
Gamma always. Oh wait,
We can play subjugate and 2 tab and Rosas.
you can do subjugate on tabula, buff something to 4 attack, take out the taunt, or buff the cunning.
So
Yeah,
this
subjugate
far
4 left.
Do we want to kill this first so we can sacrifice and then bank?
Yeah, no, there's like now 1 tabula.
I'll play 1 tabula.
I'll play 1 tabula. The cunning. Then the cunning can trade. Then you can suicide the token into the 6 HP thing.
5-6.
Yeah.
Bank this. Then buff.
Subjugate or cunning. And just take the other 2 trades.
Do we want to play this last tabula or save it?
I think you just save it here. It
I
just
guess-
dies to spores and make
Dies to
anything survive
spores.
spores. Subjugate should be far left, right?
Oh yeah.
Should buff the iterant so it lives spores.
This one or this one?
No, that one.
Basically, I don't know why I played it. I thought I put it in between, but it did not.
It's just a habit thing, right? Like once subjugates to be live for the spores, you want bannerments to be live for the spores, so you can rebuild stuff basically.
So it kills that. We have a Sabo we can bank.
It's probably just Triumph for subjugate and recruiter.
So if you have recruiters in the waste, you are always wanting to grab them. Is that right? Because you just always want
no.
card draw?
It's just super game dependent. Oh wait, here Magna is...
Oh shoot. Probably would have been better.
And then because you made Magna, you take that. No, it's just recruiter here.
What are we buffing?
Probably the Skippy token because he was suicided anyways.
Virgin?
Should take Gamma. Tabula is a good late game card. Yeah, if it's for sure suicide token, then it's just like play another recruiter.
Bank Gamma, right? Or Sabo?
Sabo. I don't know if he's playing like super relic heavy deck. Don't think so if he's playing retired.
What are we buffing? Subjugate?
But the one I can attack.
This one?
Oh, it doesn't really matter.
Another recruiter.
Play another recruiter, you can buff the recruiter again and that one can just trade Solea then. Or, no, actually Tabula and Iterant should trade Solea.
My thought is Drushian.
Like you eventually want to close out the game. Doesn't look like he has spores. But yeah, just keep the 4 HP units around.
So trade the Interit and Tabula.
Then you can look to play around Relic Removal plus spores with the Iterant summon at the end of the turn.
So with this card, we're trying to buff. Obviously, these don't die. This dies. So we can either buff the
it's
Interit.
it's either Cunning or the Iterant. Cunning is good versus Relic Removal plus spores, and Iterant is good versus just spores.
Let's just play around both. See how that goes.
I mean, fundamentally, you get to do spores formidable here, and eventually play for running you out of cards. Because we've done a lot of subjugate stuff, so there's not that much things left in the deck. One thing to do throughout the game is usually just checking your waste, because you've milled a bunch of cards of Triumphs and subjugates, but you never actually checked what you have left in your deck. So you don't really know how many relics or Cyrene or Triumphs or whatever you've lost, right?
So we got subjugate, Cyrene, Magna.
Yeah, so we have no Triumphs left in the deck, and
only one relic. So we did get a defender. Oh, well, we can play relic and Shin, right? So I'm assuming we play Drushian first, so we can trade this, then relic, or then bank relic, right? That's the order. So
in a specific case, it's whatever because it's super overkill, but that is usually the order. Yeah.
Are we buffing this because we're killing it, right?
No, because you overkill anyways, right?
So what
it's always 3+4, so of anything else. If you buff it, then you're just sending 4 damage into it twice, right?
You're saying, yeah. Then we're gonna bank this. So clearly positioning matters, but also like subjugate buffs. Think most people like definitely playing it wrong. Clearly, I'm wanting to buff certain cards, but not thinking like, hey, that's like overkill or stuff like that. So I think so.
Yeah, it's the TLDR on an Earth matchup, right? Obviously, you want to get rid of Stewart. I'm not even sure if that turn where the decision is kill Glaive or kill Stewart and bump Glaive was correct, honestly. But outside, like in general, Earthen, if you have snitching for Steward, great, right? If you don't have snitching and you go first, and you can have 1-drop plus Tabula and Relic, which also removes the Steward. And from there on, you just play to remove their cards. Magna usually is not active versus Earthen, so you don't have damage plus card draw very often. Which means if they give you a turn where you can have a good Magna with both, it's probably often correct to take that. And Recruiter is obviously super valuable because Earthen will force you into a long game. They have Spores, they have Formidable. Obviously, they can just brick after playing all of those cards as well. But the game usually will take long, or if they just don't have an answer and you play Subjugate on 3, then they probably just die. I just want to play around the DK breakpoints, and then sometimes things like Formidable and Solea, like just place units into your units outside of Spores usually. And then sometimes you can think about it if they have Relic Removal plus Spores or Relic Removal plus some other thing for Formidable or whatever, in terms of like breakpoints for buffing units. What survives these things and so on. That's that's like how the Earthen matchup goes. Like,
well, and definitely
if they don't snowball on Steward, it's chill.
I definitely think most don't keep track of the waste, like you mentioned too. I was checking my waste, but I don't think I was really understanding what is going to the waste, especially after subjugate buffs. So that's just good basic knowledge.
Yeah, it's like a physical TCG player thing to do, I think. Where you just check if you play games like Yu or whatever. You just check the graveyard, or I assume in Magic probably matters as well. Especially if physical TCGs have decks that lend a bunch of stuff to like the waste, and the waste and cards and waste matter a lot oftentimes.
Yeah,
like in games like Yu-Gi-Oh, there's a bunch of cards that have effects from there. Super relevant to keep track of what do I have, what does my opponent have, and so on.
Because you're mainly a Yu-Gi-Oh player and Hearthstone, is that correct?
No, I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh when I was like, started playing Yu-Gi-Oh when I was like 7 years old. Played actively until I was like 19, 20. Then just faded away into just being almost only Hearthstone at that point. And I stopped playing Hearthstone like 22. I stopped playing Hearthstone a lot in late 2020, 2021 already. But in 2022, the whole esport thing was basically dead, and I was like, yeah, I'm just entirely quitting.
So, what's like basic? I guess we can talk about this. For Scippy, I guess what is the game plan? What does Scippy want to do? Just go wide, end the game as quickly as possible?
So Scippy is like, what does Scippy do well is put a lot of stats on the board very consistently and spend the mana very efficiently every single turn because Recruiter exists and Scippy recasts Recruiter. And you have a lot of flexibility in mid-game cards. Use your Tabulas as a 0 mana card with a Subjugate or Banner Man or Relic, some stuff like that. Or Subjugate can turn into things from your bank, like Serene or Domina. You can, on the 7 mana plus turns, it's actually frequent that you can Triumph and summon Tabula first, and then Tabula transforms into like Banner Man, or on 8 mana can transform into a Subjugate. Then you can, after that, some buffed units and so on. So you have a lot of flexibility. In Tabula can be a 0 mana card, or it can be a 5 mana card from your bank, right? And then Triumphs as well can be full tempo play, or you resummon the Recruiters and so on. So kind of have to figure out, you have to get a, I want to say, like, get a feeling for when you just play for value and when you play for tempo. Skippy Mirrors, just play back and forth, you trade, right? And the guy that goes first has things like empty board Subjugate sometimes, which can just end the game. And then if the guy going second doesn't have Magna as an answer, it's like probably doomed. And if none of those things happen, that just end the game, like a Subjugate surviving on turn 3.
So Subjugate's
And you
important
just play
in this
like
matchup.
a grind game. Yine, not really.
So we're going first. We don't need 2 Sabos, I'm assuming. We don't have a Relic. So do we keep a Tabula or?
Yeah, like Tabulas never keep. It's only versus Earthen, I think. The Recruiter's also not a keep. You just want 1-drop Relic.
Do we keep Sabov because of this?
Yeah, for sure. You want 1-drop.
We got the same cards back.
That's funny.
We bank in the Gamma, or how does this match up?
It's always bank Gamma. The question here is if Tabula transforms into Gamma on turn 1 here.
We don't have a Relic, so to me, maybe it makes sense to play it, unless we're trying to hope for a top deck, but I feel like that's bad to try to play that way.
No, I think you play Tabula here. Because your hand, like you have Sabo, which is only good if they play Relic. I didn't pay attention to how many cards opponent mulliganed. I don't know if they're like more or less likely to have Relic hand. And you don't have, if you have a Standard Barrow or a Cunning that next turn you could bank and have Tabula transform into, that's nice. But this way you're like more free to just bank Gamma, right? Like bank Tabula is annoying because of Scippy. That's like the story behind this.
I think he did the same thing I did. We did.
Doing that going second is like, my opponent's like a random platinum guy. But if you do that going second, that would mean your hand kind of sucks. Because going second, you have more cards in hand, and you usually want to play 0-mana card with Standard Bearer or Subjugate to have comeback. So
Just
yeah,
recruit here.
opponent's hand should suck. Means nothing else to do.
I keep thinking we're playing against Earth and we're not.
You could consider playing Gamma, I guess, but I think it's like fake.
Striker?
I think you take Tabula over Striker.
Why are we doing that? Just another for a go wide
I mean,
opportunity?
you can transform into one drop
And a
from bank
Drusian,
anyways,
wow.
and you can just top deck Standard Bearer or Subjugate next turn, and then it's a tempo gain. It's also really good if you draw into something that lets you play as Tabula. It's really good to have it to resummon with Triumph.
Oh, so
Because
even
it's
though
like
you're not
0-mana
getting that muster,
resummon.
okay, just the resummon.
And if you don't draw something good, then it just transforms into a Gamma from. It's fine.
Subjugate here.
Yeah,
Always.
here.
Well, unless we top deck
The
back.
value trade is really bad because of Magna. It's just a misplay. You should just always trade Gamma here. No reason to value trade.
Bank Princep.
There's some sense in thinking about playing triple one drop here, but I think you just play Sabo.
Triple one
It's
just,
just
to get
should-
ahead kind of thing. But
Just shouldn't dismiss the idea of this.
maybe if we had like, Subjugate or something, that would be different. But
I don't know.
or just
I
because
actually didn't see
Magna.
that I didn't see that you banked Prince. I think I would have banked Snitching and played triple one actually. Snitching, I don't know, doesn't do that much. I think Snitching is good if you go second and they have like, the Subjugate on turn
Okay.
3.
That's what I was thinking, but because we're going first, maybe we don't need it. But I guess now we can play it since we're going against this.
If he has a bank Subjugate Tabula to buff Subjugate, then it doesn't die on board, right? But our opponent played Tabula on turn 1 to transform, so we can assume that the hand is like shit anyways.
Do we play double one and relic with that in mind?
So
Or do we relic, trade, bank?
I don't think we play Relic here. It gives not that much value. I think it's bank snitching, play like double one and Subjugate Cunning or whatever it's called. I don't remember names.
Cunning, and then double one.
And Sabo can just take the Iterant can value trade, not value trade, the Iterant can trade Sabo or Gamma, but like it is
I
what
guess
it
we
is.
do have Drushian in the waist or in the bank for Rasa too if we need to. Are we trading the Scippy?
Yeah, for sure. So the thing is here, opponent had a bunch of cards in hand, wasted mana last turn. Most likely they have Sabo, right? And you get very little impact of playing the Relic here. So I think you just give your opponent the Sabo on turn
Give
4.
them the out and then it's
You'd rather play Relic going into turn 5, because then they have to decide between Triumph or Sabo. Most likely our opponent is sitting on Sabos, on Triumphs, on maybe Convergent Mars or Irene, expensive stuff, right? We know there's no 1-drop, and Subjugate would have been better, like 3-drops would have been better play last turn as well. So you can narrow down pretty specifically what the hand is. It has to be something like Sabo, double Triumph. Yeah, Sabo, double Triumph, double 2-drop, basically.
So, like, what point do we ever play around? I mean, obviously on 3, like, we're playing around Magna, but like in this situation, he's not going to be playing a lot of cards. We just full trading everything, or we
Yeah,
just
you
won't
just
trade
you full trade entire board.
every single turn. All right.
Like almost unless you have lethal with domino or whatever from hand next turn, you just always trade entire board.
Yeah, because I think the common mistake is that some people play around the Magna, and they don't want to attack units just for that reason.
Oh, that's really stupid.
But yeah, that's why.
It's pretty rare that it makes sense to do that.
So,
Especially not if your opponent has like 5 cards in hand.
So are we getting the Cyrene out?
What could Tabula become?
The Extrator. So it's either TB play Extrator or we play Cyrene and just easier
Then it's
trades.
just Cyrene.
Cyrene, yeah, okay. Because I don't really need Drushian right now, right?
Yeah. Here's also the spot where you could have suicided the token and renew one.
Oh, I see that. I'm just hitting a 1 and killing this, right? And then I get easier trades here. Or would you go hit the 0?
Yeah. No, I think you take 1 damage on Cyrene.
Yeah,
Like 4 is fine. If it would drop down to 3, then that would be bad. This game is over. This Drini comeback. I guess the one situation where you can think about the Magna thing or not is, do you trade the 0-1 token or not? That can sometimes be the question. If you trade the token, then they have less options of a relic into trade or subjugate into buff token into trade stuff.
Oh, if it's the only one on board.
And if you're all in general, do you kill the token? On these turns, I just always kill it because subjugate plays can be pretty good. but it's like on 3 or something. That's why you can think about that. It's like just give them the free draw of Magna, and it's like that likely that they have the subjugate play or whatever. The game is gonna go on for a while, but unless you
Do we just Drushian
never
here?
draw a recruiter, it's like unusable. It's probably just Drushian. Depends what you draw. If you draw like recruiter, then play like 2 drops and relic. Or it's just Drushian to fill the mana basically.
Banking Sabo or keeping Sabo?
I think it banks Sabo. It's fine.
All right. So that was good, valuable Scippy beers.
You didn't even have a good turn 2, right? Your turn 2 was recruiter. But you go first, you have 1-2 drop Sabo, and your opponent didn't have Magna, didn't have subjugate plays, and just had like nothing basically. But you could tell our opponent's hand is bad from the turn 1 play. In that turn already, you learn a lot about their hand. Because going second and playing Tabula as a 1-drop means you have like no other cards that you can bank, right?
Because you just want to go wide going second, right? You're just trying to play as many cards. Just a match set up for relic.
It's not really a white or whatever, it's just like Tabula is a 0 mana card. And you have, going second, the advantage that you have is +2 more cards, right? So you can play the 0 mana card and have consistent turns in general, a lot more frequently. And you need to do something, like you need to do some kind of play to get even or ahead on board. And just playing a Tabula with Standard Barrow or with Subjugate, or in general just playing Tabula to revive with Triumph for free and so on, like, all of that is good. Playing Tabula into Transform is that you don't want to do that in general. It's just if you go first, you don't have enough cards to avoid doing it sometimes.
All right, we're in second this time against Scippy.
Striker, Relic, Sabo, Magna. Those are the non-trash cards.
All right.
So going second, you need to have Striker on 1. That's like what the game is over.
So we want a Magna and Relic, right?
If they just play a Subjugate on 3, you can only have Magna to kill it, or you can have Snitching. Snitching is like great, but it's better than nothing. No Relic also means that they can develop a 2-drop, and maybe you cannot kill it. No, it's fine, it's better than Gamma.
Oh, we got Relic. So, Striker?
You don't bank Princip.
Oh.
Probably because maybe you want to do Standard Barrow, bank 1-drop on 3. That's cunning. Standard Barrow, bank 1-drop it's the best turn 3 that you can have. Going second, it's like the whole theme in the game, right? Like if you go second, you have 2 more cards, you just want to run the other guy out of cards. So if you just keep playing stuff that they have to then trade into and interact with, then you can just hope that they have a bad turn at some point.
So he doesn't have Relic? Oh, he does. Good trades. So are we matching Relic, or are we... Because like if he has Sabo, that would be like my thing. Is like, then it's kind of bad, but is it worth it to trade the Striker?
I mean, you can trade Striker into token and play double 1-drop here as well. If you had Sabo in hand, that would be by far the best play. Bank Drusian double 1-drop. You don't have Sabo in hand. I think you still go for it though.
We still go for the double 1-drop? And do we value trade Adjutant?
No, if you draw Sabo, that's insane. But this way, Subjugate is not a great play. It is a play. It's not a super great play. Magna is good play for our opponent. Sabo is not a play. Just hoping that they break right. If they are holding Sabo and the other cards that they wanted to play after Sabo.
He plays Relic. That's great for us.
Maybe. Because he didn't bank a unit. Really weird, actually.
So is it just now we have a Tabula. So is it just Subjugate Tabula? Bank Bear?
It is for sure Subjugate. Question is what to bank.
We'll trade this, right? The 0-1, just to get another one. Oh, but I guess what question is what we're banking? I would bank Bear, but that's my playing Subjugate. Are we playing Tabula as well?
Think so.
Buffing Subjugate?
Yes.
Trade Prince-up?
Yep. I mean, Striker has an upside, right? That's a unit to keep around.
Because if you play another one, it gets just continuously buffed. Ooh, that's alright.
So it's really weird that our opponent did not bank a unit last turn. So that means that these 2 cards either... Yeah, it's like something like Sabo that they really don't want to bank.
Dropped.
I think in that spot, though,
He banked
I would probably bank Sabo.
Wait,
because summoning the unit is just big.
He banked a Prince-up. He's another Relic? That's nuts. Is this game just over?
Fine. I mean, it's looking like good for us now.
Trade the Subjugate or the Adjutant again, right? Well, I guess it depends what we're banking.
No, yeah, I think you should retrade it. And then you just play Recruiter first, and you can just play Recruiter first and see what you draw in general, but...
Are we wanting to trade this? By buffing the Striker?
I think you buff Subjugate.
Keep buffing Subjugate.
Cunning
Cunning is good. Conquer's big just play Cunning.
I think it's banks, they're not barrel and play cunning. You keep buffing subjugate, and subjugate just takes the value trade. Or actually maybe it just doesn't trade. I think you just keep buffing subjugate and go face here. Next turn just play double relic, probably kill.
Yeah, I would have never done it this way. I would think I would have buffed the striker just to trade this. And then
This is like a rare thing where you just set up lethal, I think.
okay.
Especially
it's
because
more,
they
it's
have like
better
triple
just,
relic.
it's better to set up lethal because we're ahead. And then
It's like the thing, because if you play the line where you play like relic into second relic, I mean third relic is like super extreme, but even like relic into second relic, then you have on the other side now you have 6 units in play and they have 1 guy. Like their 1 guy can trade one of your guys or whatever. And then you just hit them again and maybe you play more units again and they can just not. They eventually will have more stats than you, obviously, because they have more relics, but just very limited with how few units they have, right? It's probably lethal, right?
10,
So
14.
12, 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all the thing of, because they played so many relics instead of units, they just have one thing that can attack into like 1-1 or 2-1 or something.
No, I think that's great because I think I definitely would have played it totally different than how you explained it. But how you explained it,
I mean, I think even if you
sense.
trade subjugate, you're probably fine, but it's definitely losable if you kill this
probably
stuff.
more, especially with the Scippy, like just setting up the lethal, then trading is whatever, right? Because what does that one unit really do? Unless they have poisoner, but that's like a one-off card.
They also resummon the unit for free, right? That's like another part of that.